evening, darling. So the lovely little buttercup Goskus has sent me more questions, darling. Thank you so much. So I'm going to answer them sort of separately. So the first one that I got that I'll answer tonight is about Tauriel and sort of if I'm for or against her and sort of my feelings on her. So of course, you know, it's quite a tragedy what happened with her mother, and so of course I did take her in. I didn't necessarily directly raise her, but I did sort of have a hand in the matter. And she and Legolas were close for so long. You know, they were pretty much inseparable from the time they were quite young, and I did see sort of a blossoming relationship there, which I sort of actively discouraged, because of course, you know, Sylvan elves are a little more wild, and they tend to not want to be so settled down as we Cinderins sort of can become comfortable with. And perhaps there was a bit of similarity that I saw between her and my own wife, and so I sort of didn't want Legolas to be hurt the way that I was hurt, and that's not fair, darlings. I know that, of course, but you know, sometimes we make decisions in the moment that we regret later. So I did think she was absolutely brilliant. What a wonderful hunter and scout. Of course, it's part of why I made her captain of the guard. She's just so um, it's just a sort of foresight when it comes to combat that I really appreciated, and I wanted to sort of um, show respect, and so for that she did earn one of the highest titles. And of course, Legolas was very keen on the idea. You know, he was always encouraging me to sort of promote her, and I was fine with that. You know, I did see that he did. I mean, you know, he doesn't really talk to me about these sort of things, but it did seem as though there was sort of you know, some romance blossoming there, particularly on his side. Um, but I think there came a point where Tauriel seemed to sort of realize that her destiny lied elsewhere. I'm not sure if it was the call of the wild, for instance, or something else. And I know she valued their friendship very much, which is part of why she stayed, of course, that and the sense of duty. But it's not uncommon for elven women to sort of have, even if they don't have the gift of foresight per se, just the sort of intuition about where they need to go forward with themselves. And I think she had that moment, and I of course am grateful for all of the things she has done for this kingdom, and for my son in particular. The friendship over many years, he didn't really get along with very many people, but she was one of the few. I'm not sure why she chose to go off with the dwarf. It's still sort of um, sort of baffling, really. She's such a bright girl, and I don't know. You know, she was always into new things, excitement. So perhaps that's why she went for possibly one of the worst matches ever. I can't believe you'd go for a nephew of Thorn Oakenshield. Why does he keep coming up, darlings? Anyhow, um, you know, I was kind of harsh on her when I sort of saw the poor influence she was having on my son. At least that's how I perceived it. But I do hope, and darling, if you're watching, I do hope you the happiness that you do deserve, even though I will never understand your decision. I do hope that you are happy with your dwarf and that you will be happy. I'm sorry that you are not a part of our kingdom anymore, and although I said many things that I now regret, I was trying to do them for what I thought was the right reason, and I see now that I was being a bit selfish. I was sort of hurt, of course, because Tauriel was a bit of a daughter to me, not, of course, in the sense of my own child exactly, but I feel like there was a part of me that did feel sort of as though she was, and so it was kind of hurtful when she ran off and didn't want to listen to me, and I was sort of very angry about that. But I've learned through much wine and reflection that I was too harsh, and so darling, if you ever want to come back to our kingdom, of course, you are free to. I know you may not want to see me after what I've done, but of course you are welcome, and I look forward to seeing you, of course, at the wedding. So, all happiness to you, darlings. Ta-ta.